Peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. I hope you got your fishing rods ready because today we are fishing for a-holes. That is right, it is that weekly series where I do this every time. Every time. Is it getting old? Let me know if it's getting old. Take a look at the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? Because it's a little bit juicy drama because we can hopefully help a couple people out, whether it be the original OPs who stumble across this video or people also going through similar situations, which is a more likely scenario, and we can also expand our own mindsets along the way. I know you might think it's a spiel. I plan these things meticulously though when I create them, and it's because I genuinely hope these things will happen, and I think I've learned a lot from these Am I the Arsehole posts. We can always learn a lot from the storytelling of others. So call it cringe. I am who I am. Am I the arsehole for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food after he ruined my food photos? Photos is an important word there. It was on a different line. I was like, after he ruined my food? No. Babe. But photos? Let's see. I have an Instagram account dedicated to photos and short videos of food from local restaurants in my city. I don't turn meals into a whole photo shoot production when I go out, but I like to snap a few photos of everything as it comes out. I have about 1,000 followers. It's just a hobby for me, but I've made friends with some other bloggers. We like to go out and get pictures together and try new restaurants. I think this is adorable. Some people call it cringe. I do think there's a line. I do. I think when you go outside and you see people being like, wait, and they're like making this really big deal out of it, getting lights out, spending so long taking photos of the food that everyone else's food is getting cold. This, however, I don't think sounds like a line. If you're aware, you don't make it a big production, you just take a couple pictures. What's the problem? You're having fun? You're sharing your love of food? I love it. I'm also a bit hungry. I prefer doing this with my foodie girls because my boyfriend hates it. He'll go out of his way to take a big bite of food or mess up his plate with his fork before I can snap any pictures, and he rolls his eyes when I take pictures of my own food, so I pretty much stopped bothering when we went out together. If what you're saying is true and you're not making a big production, I think it's a shame for your boyfriend to not support you in your creative endeavours in that way. That does make me sad. However, it's his food, so if he's going to react like that to his food, fine. At least you can still take photos of your own. Money's been tight lately because of some medical bills, so I haven't been able to go out to eat with my foodie girls, and the infrequent date with my boyfriend is the only chance I get to eat out. I had to sit him down and say, look, just let me enjoy things. I had that conversation with him, told him I was going to take pictures of my food when we went out. Could he please just not be immature about it? Since we alternate who pays, I told him I'd appreciate it if he could spare 30 seconds for me to take a photo since I was paying, and I got sort of half-hearted do whatever you want confirmation. Sunday was my turn to pay. He let me take pictures of the appetizer with minimal fussing. But then when the entrees came out, the entrees are the main meal, which is odd because entrees to me means like entry, so it's like the beginning of the meal, so I feel like that should be the start entry. Anyway, I went to snap a pic of his and he messed it up with a fork. Then he reached over and stirred up my pasta to also ruin the photo of my own meal. I was so pissed off that I refused to pay for his half at the end of the meal, which pissed him off because he said he wouldn't have ordered a cocktail if he knew I was going to skip my turn paying. Big red flag there, babe. Big red flag. He says I owe him one because I don't just get to decide not to pay according to our agreement after we've already ordered. Am I the arsehole? No! I don't think you're the arsehole, my love. There's a very big lesson to be learnt here, a very big reminder, which is if it isn't hurting anyone, who are you to judge what other people enjoy? Why bring people down like that? I just don't get it. You don't have to understand it, you just have to accept it. It really doesn't affect you in any substantial way, and then to mess up somebody else's food is not okay. But the reason, and it's not even the main reason of this post, the reason that I'm most annoyed about this is the fact that your partner is taking advantage of your money. He said he only ordered something because you were paying. It might not sound like a big deal to some, it's just a cocktail at the end of the day, but what it shows to me is a reflection of value that suggests that you're okay to take advantage of someone else and their financial situation in any context if you do it for a cocktail in a way that you wouldn't do if it was your own money, and I just think that's incredibly disrespectful. I do think going forward, if he dislikes it that much, you shouldn't be trying to take photos of his food. He's made it quite clear that he doesn't want that for his, but you can do whatever the hell you want for your plate of food and he cannot be messing it up. Not the arsehole. While you're dating someone who clearly has no respect for you or your hobbies, dump the asshole. I wouldn't go as far as saying dump the arsehole. Again, Reddit. I think Reddit jumps to conclusions so much. It's like, get rid of them! If everybody took on Reddit's advice and broke up relationships as soon as something got hard, no one would be together. Because relationships are about compromise. Communicating boundaries in terms of what you post on social media, I feel is definitely workable. Don't break up just yet. And Reddit, calm down. Also, the fact that he said I wouldn't have gotten a cocktail if I had to spend my own money, that's the flag right there. This guy clearly is jealous she gets attention on that blog. What a small man. I don't know if it's that, but a fantastic point to be raised. If somebody has a dislike like that, talk about it. I would be asking the boyfriend, hi, can we just have a chat? what is it about this that you really dislike? Is it the time it takes? Is it the fact that I'm taking the photos? Is it the fact that you don't like my hobby? Is it the fact that you don't like the blog? I feel like digging down into that could, one, be a really healthy conversation to have to understand where he's coming from, because if it is something like he doesn't like the attention, maybe it's something that even he is unaware of, and being able to understand that and walk through it and be like, you know what, it's not such a big deal and I shouldn't be stopping you in this way. It could be a really helpful way for him to understand and realise that what he's doing is wrong, or it might bring up something that you totally didn't realise, but perhaps there's a compromise that could happen where both of you could be happy, again, if you have that conversation, to actually dig down into what the actual problem is. Let's go take a look at another one. Am I the arsehole for missing Mother's Day? That's right, because American Mother's Day has just happened, right? I'm a 24-year-old man. I was supposed to spend Mother's Day with my mum. My mum, who is 45 years old, was battling cancer and going through chemo, so she didn't want to celebrate until she was feeling better. Meanwhile, my girlfriend, Rose, who was 28, had a stillborn birth that hurt her deeply. To support her, I promised to do Mother's Day with her every year. I can see where this is going. This is tough. Last year, my mum's cancer went into remission. Yay. But after Mother's Day had passed, so you spend that Mother's Day with your partner, Rose. She said that when Mother's Day came around this year, she wanted to have a Mother Sunday together, which I agreed to. However, Rose was feeling lonely, so I decided to spend the day with Rose instead. Question. I'm assuming, because you said she wanted to have a Mother Sunday together, your mum told you this beforehand. I'm assuming you told Rose this beforehand too, and you were like, hey, Rose, my mum wants to spend Mother's Day with me. It's the first one that we're celebrating because she's post-cancer. Are we okay with this? Can we make plans? Because I feel like that really changes the context of what's happening here. Because if you didn't say that and Rose was like, no, stay, please, please, then I can see why this could be your fault. But if you did tell her in advance and now she's like, no, please, please stay, that becomes a much trickier situation. I know that this hurt my mother's feelings. My sister said it was a screwed up thing to do. My dad said that my mum would need some time to get over it, but it was his birthday yesterday and my mum said she didn't want me coming over because she's still mad that I missed Mother's Day. You know, a really important point to note here as well, sometimes when things like this happen, you can be like, why? Why are you being so petty about it? It was one day, I didn't go, now you're ruining another event. Sometimes in those situations, people are just making things difficult unnecessarily, but I think a really important thing to ask in that situation is, what is this really about? This whole situation is about Mother's Day, but Mother's Day is really a tool for a greater conversation that is happening deep down. It's not about a single day in the calendar. It's about the fact that your mum is feeling left behind. It's about the fact that your mum is feeling unprioritized, and I would hazard a guess to say in this situation it's about your mum feeling like you don't care about her cancer experience and her post-remission because you're not doing the one thing that you agreed to do to celebrate beforehand. My friends are split on whether I'm the asshole or not. Some think that my mum's being petty, others think that I messed up and should apologise. I'm not sure what to do next as I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Am I the asshole? Ooh. I can't do a bad yet. I need more information. Let's go digging for some more information. Was the baby yours as well? Does your girlfriend know about your mum's cancer? Yes, it was my baby. Yes, the girlfriend knew about the cancer and they get along. And how long ago was it that Rose lost the baby? 2 years ago. Ah, here we go. OP said he'd visit the mum on Mother's Day, then on the day didn't tell her, just didn't show up because on the day Rose said that she didn't want him to leave. And in terms of potentially bringing the girlfriend to the mum, Rose also said that she didn't want to leave herself and that everything reminded her of losing the baby. Wow, okay. In light of that new information, I'm gonna say everybody sucks here. I feel like the mum doesn't suck. And again, this is why I don't like it being called Am I the Arsehole? Because I think in this sense, arsehole is such a horrible term. The reality is you're all going through something really difficult. You lost a child 2 years ago. So did your partner. Mother's Day is a difficult day for her. Your mum's just gone through cancer. That's a difficult time too. However, most importantly, it's a lack of communication. You didn't tell your mum you weren't going to show up. You just didn't show up. That absolutely makes you an arsehole, especially for something so big. Like, put yourself in your mum's shoes. She was waiting this whole time. The Mother's Days that existed that she didn't celebrate throughout her cancer must have made her feel really sad. And the idea that she could do one was an expectation that she built up, which therefore meant it probably meant a lot more to her than you understand. And look, I get it. I totally appreciate. Actually, I don't appreciate. I could never understand because I've not been through it. I wouldn't want to wish that on anyone. Touch wood, I never have to experience that. And no one should be blaming Rose for how she's feeling about the loss of child. However, you have to also realise that going forward, life is not just about you, especially with these celebrations where other mothers are also involved. I feel like Rose needs to understand that if you made that commitment and she is aware of the cancer and what you said, then she should understand that she needs to share the day. If she wants to be with you on that day, you guys can be together. Maybe you both didn't have to go to the mum's. Perhaps the mum could have come to you. There are other ways that you could have worked around it, but all of that involves much better communication than what seems apparent in this post. So yes, I think you are the asshole, primarily, OP. And I think this is a great learning moment to realise the communication is always key. I also think Rose is a little bit of an asshole because she didn't let you go out and celebrate your mum too, which is important, or come up with any kind of compromise or solution to help you. And whilst I don't think the mum's the asshole necessarily in this situation, she's hurt, I do think it is a bit assholey to not allow your dad as well to have his birthday celebration with you there. Did the dad want you there? Maybe he didn't want you there because it meant getting an earache from your mum, who clearly didn't want you there, but you shouldn't be imposing things like that on other people's events. What do you think, Peaches? I feel like that wasn't a very clear-cut decision. Let me know your thoughts. Let's see what the forum had to say. You're the asshole. Terribly sorry for your girlfriend, but your mum doesn't stop being your mum. You told her you'd spend the time with her, you flaked out. There's no reason you couldn't spend part of the day with your mum and part of the day with your girlfriend, or with both of them if your girlfriend didn't want to leave, but involving your mum in that, in some way. I'm sure that could have happened. Somebody asked, did you inform your mother beforehand? And then said, you're the asshole, you didn't inform her beforehand. How rude is that? It's very rude. Am I the asshole for telling my mum? I was upset that she missed my graduation because my sister had a baby. On the offset, I'm like, calm down, babe. Baby, big deal. Yes, graduation is also a big deal, but you know, if we're talking priorities here, one is more important than the other. I'm 27. My sister, 30, just had her first baby on Sunday morning at 2:30 a.m. An early bird. Wow. Thankfully, it was a smooth delivery and she and her nephew are happy and healthy. Oh, interesting. I thought this would have been the birth battling the graduation. Maybe I got that wrong. My mum, dad, me, my sister's husband, and my sister's mum-in-law were all at the hospital per my sister's request from around midnight on Sunday and the remainder of the day. My graduation from grad school was on Sunday as well at 4 p.m. At around 2 p.m, me and my parents went down to grab lunch from the cafe and I realised the time. So wait, the baby's been born and it's graduation that day. The baby was born at 2:30 a.m. and your graduation's over 12 hours later. I asked my parents if they wanted to just meet me at the graduation because I needed to go home and get ready first. My mum looked at me funny and said, you can't really expect me to leave your sister and my grandbaby right now. I didn't know what to say, but my dad just told me to get ready and that they would meet me there. Right, so right now, if I were you, it sounds like mum doesn't go. I would be under the impression that mum was coming, based on what dad said. And to answer mum's question, yes, I would expect you to come to my graduation. It's a big deal. The baby has been born. The baby's okay, right? I'm assuming the baby's okay. Nothing has been said otherwise. If mama's okay, if baby's okay, if other people are there, and what that meant is just missing a couple of hours, go to your other daughter's graduation, mum. What's the big deal? I don't get it. So I went to graduation, and afterwards I looked for my family, and sure enough, my mum didn't come, but my dad did. I was upset because I won an award from my program director. Congratulations, my love. And I gave a speech in which I thanked her specifically. She missed the whole thing. Mom. I got back to the hospital, didn't really talk to my mum because I didn't want to make a scene or stress out my sister. Sounds like you're being very considerate. Last night, my mum called me and I expressed to her how hurt I was, and she said that I was being selfish. I needed to realise that my sister just gave birth, and that's more important, even though she is proud of me. I ended up hanging up. I'm not quite understanding where the mum's coming from. Are there any Peaches watching this and it's just like, Shaaba, what don't you get? If the baby's okay, if the mum's okay, like, I'm pretty sure parents aren't supposed to be there anyway, right? Like, once the birth is okay, once you check that mum is okay, my first instinct would be like, all right, mum, as in birthing person, other partner involved, and baby, you guys do you. This is your special moment. We're gonna leave you be. And when you're ready and if you need help, come let me know. I'll get you food, I'll get you clothes, I'll take you home, whatever you want me to do, but unless I'm being called upon, I will leave you be. Right? Shout out, by the way, to my minstrel nail varnish. I'm particularly in love with the shade. I guess my thought process is that at the point when it was time to leave, the baby had been born for 12 hours. We spent most of that time with the baby and my sister when they were awake. I'm glad we did, not complaining. My plan was to go to graduation, pick up my sister's favourite pizza that she was craving on the way back, cute, and eat it with her. My dad and I did just that. In total, we were away from the hospital for around 3 hours. Mum, you totally could have gone. You should have gone. I understand that giving birth is a huge deal and I'm so proud of my sister. I don't mean to act like my graduation was more important. It's not more important, you recognise that, but your graduation is certainly more important than your mum being there to shadow that period between 12 and 24 hours for your grandbaby. And it wasn't even that it was 12 hours, it was 3 hours. The reality is mama who'd just given birth is probably sleeping during that time, and so is baby, you know? Like, what? I just felt there wasn't a need to choose. My mum could have done both because my dad did. My sister had her husband and mum-in-law there. I just had my dad, and whilst I'm grateful that he came, I wish my mum did too. My dad agrees with me that my mum should have come. My sister apologised for stealing my spotlight, to which I told her she had absolutely nothing to be sorry for. Brownie points to you, OP. You're being so kind and thoughtful. I told her to focus on herself and the baby baby and everything with me and my mom will work itself out. I think my mum told my sister, which makes me more angry because she doesn't need to worry about this. It's our issue. Am I the asshole? No, you're totally not the asshole. Your mum, however, is a big asshole, specifically for that last point. Why are you bringing the sister into it? She just had a baby. And you know what? I get it. Sometimes birth grandbabies can bring out a certain kind of personality. This kind of grandmama bear, I'm going to look after my grandkid. And maybe she made the wrong decision in that moment. Objectively, I do believe this was a wrong decision. Maybe she couldn't have seen it in that moment, but to double down afterwards and to not be like, you know what, babe, I'm so sorry. I was caught up because the birth was a big deal. Seeing my little grandbaby was a big deal. In hindsight, I should have come and I'm really sorry. I see how this made you feel. I apologise. That's all OP is asking for, and that's not what she's getting. And that is a very asshole move. A little edit here as well that says my sister was totally okay with my parents leaving. According to my dad, for a few hours, he told me that whilst we were picking up pizza, my sister told my mum that it was fine. Go, go, go. I haven't talked to my sister about it because she wouldn't even think about that right now. She has enough on her plate. Not the asshole. Your mum had no reason to skip your graduation. Do not downplay your accomplishments either. Yes, your sister labour is important, but your graduation is extremely important too. Your mum should have been there for you. Your feelings are completely justified and you deserve better. I agree. And well done, my love. We're going to give you all of the pride right here because I'm happy for you. And to get those extra prizes as well and do a speech. Huge well done to you. All right, my loves. I think that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. It really helps me out. Please go click that little subscribe button right now. Only if you want to. And I will catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.